Can you give me your name and background?
Sure, it's Andrew Smith, and I'm the CEO and founder of Advanced Transit Dynamics, or AT Dynamics.
Okay.
Background. So let me just, before I dive in here in terms of extensiveness of background coverage, do you want me to talk about how I came to be involved in this industry, why I'm here today,
Sure, how you came to be involved in this industry.
So we'll just do like a full conversation. So my background is when I was in elementary school, I loved doing things in the great outdoors, but I also really liked Porsches, Ferraris, and Lamborghinis. And in 7th grade, I took a class where my science class, and I learned that cars were actually polluting, and this created a great controversy in my life. And so one of my first science projects was involved with electric vehicles, and this was a little bit ago now, but basically I was interested in environmental technology for a long time. When I read Natural Capitalism around 1999, 2000, when was it first published?
Yeah,
It was
1999.
1999. Okay, so right after it first got published, it was sort of the unifying book that really had an influence of bringing together the pieces that I saw that were out there, which was there really wasn't this huge difference between what was good for the environment and what ways that you could create innovation and good business. And so interacting with both Hunter Levins and Amory Levins, and reading Natural Capitalism, and then basically looking at different, what I call environmental technology now, everyone calls clean tech. Throughout my career, I worked a lot in developing countries, looking at how developing countries could grow green industries. But I started looking at different startup opportunities, and I was introduced to the trucking industry. And I met a professor who for 20 years had been trying to raise awareness that the worst shape to move down the highway at 55 miles per hour was a big rectangular box. And it was just one of those light bulb moments where I'd been looking at sometimes what I call clean low-tech, which is low-tech solutions to dramatic efficiency gains. And so we looked at this technology this guy had been developing, literally put thousands of additional engineering hours and hours of thought into how to take this from a concept to something that was commercially viable for the market. So when we started this company, trailer aerodynamics was a far-flung idea. No one in the industry had it. I actually met with one of the senior vice presidents of engineering for the top trailer manufacturing companies, and he crossed his arms and looked at me and said, the worst shape to move down the highway, he looked at me and said, we've been making square boxes for 50 years and we plan to make them for another 50. So in one sense that was oh boy, this is going to be a long process, but it also was a great opportunity. So we founded this company in 2006. The world has changed. There's been, because of our efforts and a handful of other small companies, there's been a brand new awareness of aerodynamics and the benefit. And so right now we're one of the leading providers of trailer aerodynamic equipment with the potential to save basically 10% fuel efficiency on on-ride highway use of these long-haul tractor trailers. So our sort of corporate mission is to deliver $3 to $5 billion in annual fuel savings to the industry.
Wow.
So that was the long story.
Great. And what do you think the main barriers are to efficiency, or in trucking especially?
I think in the trucking industry, just looking at what happened in the 70s, where the very first tractor-trailer aerodynamic studies took place, you had this oil shock, you got a bunch of research dollars, that's when the very first work got done, and then the environment changed, and then all of a sudden in 2008, it spikes again and it gets all this attention. There really are two things. One is a stable market environment that allows companies to invest capital to develop the product, and it allows fleets to invest capital in these products and know that they are really going to have a cost advantage by being efficient because there's a higher price to fuel. So in reality, I think one of the solutions to our transportation system inefficiency is the same thing that's a solution to other major industries like electricity production, which is if we start taxing, and when I say tax, I mean that in the broadest sense, but if we start regulating, taxing, discouraging the use of the things we don't want, such as burning lots of oil, and providing more and more incentives for the things that we do want, that's what causes this big change. So even though we love to say, or you know, our mission is to make things so effective that a fleet just invests in it because it's good business sense,
Right.
a playing field on which more and more efficiency technology makes sense is going to make that go into the market the fastest. That was the longest soundbite I've ever given. I will answer everything in better soundbites for you.
Oh, no, it actually leads perfectly into one of my other questions, which I was going to ask. I mean, we talk a lot about regulation and policy versus like market incentives, and I guess it sounds like the perfect way is to kind of meld the two in a way, like use policy to incentivize. But what's your opinion on that?
The solution to doubling the efficiency of the freight transportation system is to create a new playing field where we price oil appropriately, and then allowing the private sector to compete on that new playing field. So if that makes sense. So raise the playing field, price the oil correctly, and then that will make the best technologies competitive.
Great. And what are you hoping to get out of this, Charrette?
The most productive part of the RMI Charrette on trucking is the fact that we brought people together with a clean sheet of paper. There are a lot of very smart people that have worked in this industry for a long time, but it's just the nature of any industry. You have many established players with existing business models, and it's very hard to have breakthrough thinking. The Charrette allows a diverse group of players to come to the table with a clean sheet of paper and act as disinterested parties, just thinking about how do we truly hit our reduce oil dependency, reduce carbon emissions, etc.
Great, thanks a lot.